Hey guys, it's me Desiree with InspiredHumanDesign.com, and this video is for the wonderful projectors who reach out to me and are really interested in the reflector life. So this is kind of just a gift to you. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification because I am going to be incorporating more videos for projectors. And the next video that I'm going to release is an interview that I did with a wonderful projector where we talk about aliens and some other wonderful stuff. So you don't want to miss out on that. And I guess without further ado, let's get into the Projector chapter that is from the book that I recommend. It's the Definitive Book of Human Design, the Center of Differentiation. So let's get into it. The Projector Type. Two things stand out in a projector's body graph. The first is an undefined sacral center, and the second is that there is no motor connection with the throat center, meaning projectors have no built-in potential for generating or manifesting. Because they possess no consistent, reliable means of manifesting or generating energy, projectors are classified with reflectors as non-energy types. These two types use their experiential wisdom about energy to increase the understanding and productivity of the energy types, generators and manifestors. Projectors charts can be configured with as few as 2 and as many as 8 defined centers. They make up 21% of the population. Overview. Projectors represent a new energy archetype on the planet that emerged after 1781. Until the advent of the human design system, projectors had no direct means of which to fully comprehend either their unique auric field or the particular role that they are here to play as one of the four types. Up until the last century, manifestors and generators dominated positions of leadership and authority around the world. In the future, however, it is the projector who will begin to move into positions of greater power, taking leadership itself in a new direction. This will happen when the energy types recognize and empower the projector's natural potential by inviting their projector to guide them. As manifestors are freed to initiate process, the generators begin to realign with their own natural power as creative builders, and projectors will emerge as the administrators of the new order. The projector's focused, probing aura and complex way of interacting with people at deeper energetic level sets them apart from the other three types. With their natural brilliance and openness to taking on the expectations and energies of others, they have managed to effectively imitate both manifestors and generators, losing themselves in the process. How projectors reclaim that self along with their significant and rightful place in the world begins with a comprehensive look at the complex nature of their unique configuration. Projectors have a general openness to life combined with a penetrating aura that absorbs and energetically tastes the energy of others. With their capacity to see the big picture, recognize the talents and gifts of others, and bring people together, they make exceptional advisors, administrators, networks, and natural mediators. Projectors can be gifted organizers and masters at understanding how to maximize energy and resources as they see things that others often miss. Just because projectors can see how a person's energy is best utilized, however, it doesn't mean that they can tell others what to do. A specific part of their role and purpose here on Earth is to guide others by knowing how to ask the right questions. Projectors have a natural gift for diplomacy that is wise to nurture. Projectors are rising naturally to the top of their type hierarchy. However, they still have a long way to go, and a great deal depends on having awake and aware manifestor and generator energy to work with. Projectors are more interested in other people's designs than they are their own, and they normally seek out systems that help them to understand individuals, groups, and the way people work together more effectively and efficiently. Recognition is the projector's key to understanding the way their strategy connects them to their authority and the world. In some ways, recognition is to projectors what responding is to generators. Their powers of strategic recognition provide them with their boundaries, which they maintain by being selective when accepting invitations. Both the projector's ability to recognize what is available to them from others and the need for their own unique gifts to be recognized by others are part of the specific way their auras are designed to connect. The projector aura is an I am open to an invitation field that draws people in and out of their lives by provoking invitations from them. Recognition, accompanied by a formal invitation, is the way other types honor and empower projectors. As with generators, weighting is quality of the projector strategy. However, the clarity of their answer is not always immediately accessible as a sacral response. To further analyze these subtle differences, we have divided projectors into three basic categories based on chart configurations illustrated on the following page. The three categories of projectors. Mental projectors. Mental projectors are defined by any combination of defined head, ajna, and throat centers, but have no definition below the throat center. They have an open design and deep reliance on their mind. They tap into their environment and read its transient energies through all of their undefined centers. Mental projectors are the archetype of outer authority, which is to say, one who provides valued information and guidance for others. It is difficult for them to accept the fact that their strong and agile minds cannot be their personal authority. For mental projectors to reach clarity in decision making, it is helpful to bounce things off of others so they can hear it themselves. Their surroundings can have a definite influence on their decision making process, so it is also important that they get a sense of how the environment is affecting them. With so much of their design open and vulnerable to conditioning, understanding how others impact them can prove to be an invaluable tool. Through studying other people's designs, mental projectors begin to understand the similarities and differences in their own processes. As they become awake and aware, their own strategy begins to work for them. Energy projectors. Energy projectors have one or more motors except the sacral center defined in their design. They need to pay close attention to the guidance of their authority, being extra vigilant for invitations from people who want to access their energy just to fill a vacant position or to get a job done. Even though these projectors are under pressure to discharge build-up energy from their motor centers, it is essential they expand it either by doing something they enjoy or doing what they have been recognized for and properly invited to do. This extra energy creates two temptations for projectors. The first is initiating an action just to release the pressure. The second is unwittingly committing to an activity where they become a laborer rather than the one who can see how to direct a process towards greater efficiency and success. Classic projectors. The classic projector's definition lies below the throat center but never includes a defined motor center. Without motor definition in their design, they can test or taste the fuel from the motors of others and discern which people are correct for them and which ones are not. This gives them the potential to be more objective and more selective about the invitations they accept. For example, projectors take in, experience, and magnify the creative life force energy of a defined sacral center. This can be exhilarating, but it can also make them prone to any toxic or detrimental frequencies attached to that energy. It's like ingesting a poison which then smothers or destroys their vitality and compromises their physical or mental health. Since all projector decisions connect them to energies which either empower or enslave them, becoming conscious of the purity of the fuel emanating from people they accept into their lives is very critical to their overall well-being. All projectors. The dilemma for all projectors is waiting for the invitation. They want to be and must be recognized and invited in order to fulfill their purpose as administrators and guides. Personal success for projectors is dependent on having energetically healthy people around them who acknowledge their projector skills and offer them their energy resources to work with. When not self projectors, eager for recognition of any kind, try to meet that expectation of others and thus are recognized instead for what they are not, they can get confused and attach themselves to anyone, even someone who is detrimental to them. Healthy projectors are those who avoid this trap by recognizing themselves and understanding their own limitations. When they are no longer dependent on external sources for affirmation of any kind, the true projector's gift of recognition is returned to its rightful and properly functioning place in their strategy. The most basic but essential function of recognition for projectors relates to choosing people to be in their inner circle and people who will keep them aligned with their own path and purpose. Because projectors are designed to penetrate others' centers so deeply, and because they cannot fulfill their purpose without access to the energy and resources of other people, projectors need to know who is right for them and who recognizes or sees them for who they truly are. This applies to the way they connect to the wider community as well. For example, if you are a skilled classical guitarist, you wouldn't book a concert to entertain a crowd expecting to dance to rock and roll unless your personal gifts included converting the casual listener to classic guitar music and you have been invited to do just that. Without the invitation, you would be wasting your precious projector gifts and leave the place without recognition, embittered by the experience. No amount of money could buy or replace what you would lose. Nothing boosts the mood of projectors like being recognized, or drops them faster into a state of bitterness when they are not. When projectors try to get others to see them, they are perceived as needy and demanding. Other types feel this need for recognition and resist it. By initiating and inviting themselves, projectors are giving their inherent power to the other person, which places them at a huge disadvantage. This often happens in a family relationship where they have not been seen as themselves from the beginning. Taking their power back is difficult at first. It involves shifting their focus, standing securely grounded in awareness of their own gifts, and waiting for their own auric message to be clearly received. This allows the person around them to recognize and invite their real gifts into the relationship and changes the basis for the relationship as a whole. Projector strategy: recognition to wait for the invitation. Projectors are designed to be seen. They are always being noticed, but one must question what is really getting the attention. Are they being recognized for their true gifts or not? When projectors are truly recognized, they feel it in their core and there is no doubt. The projector strategy and decision making process is to wait for the recognition and then the invitation. Recognition and invitation come from silence. When projectors grasp that waiting quietly is a quality of readiness, they can watch their strong aura pull people in recognition to them. Once they have been recognized and invited correctly, their gifts and skills are empowered as they are filled up by the transient energy that is theirs to choreograph. The energy they connect with and commit to managing sort of flows through them. The energy is not theirs, but they get to utilize its potential to benefit others for as long as that invitation lasts. Waiting for the invitation has specific qualities to it that are subtly different from the waiting strategy of generators, who wait for their life to be directed from moment to moment through response. Projectors are waiting for what is best described as a more formal, long-term invitation. They are waiting for the investors to recognize, request, and empower their special skills and exchange for an ample compensation. The invitation offers the projector access to the investors initiating and generating energy resources. This is what the projector lives for, how their genius is empowered, and how they will experience the success they are here to achieve in their lifetime. The relationship between the generator and the projector is both essential and interdependent, as neither has the power to fulfill their purpose without the other. Investor invitations generally, but not exclusively, apply to the four major decisions one makes in life: the invitation to love, to hold a career, to bond with others, and a place to live. Once an invitation is received and accepted, projectors can use all skills at their disposal within the parameters set by the invitation for as long as the investor remains open and receptive and willing to play their part. This can be for weeks, this can be for months, a few years, or even for the rest of their life. When entering into any of these long-term commitments, projectors need to be intentional and deliberate in following their strategy and authority. The next essential step for projectors is being selective. Just because they finally receive an invitation doesn't automatically make it right for them. The authority will guide them to the right energy exchange for them. Each projector's decision-making process is unique, and the best way to determine what a correct invitation looks like is to measure the level of resistance they meet when they act on one. Over time, and with increased self-awareness, the projector's proficiency in recognizing correct invitation improves and the process itself is refined. When projectors are recognized and invited, they suddenly have access to the reliable energy of others, which in turn releases their own projector gifts and outer authority. Patience and careful observation are once again key factors for projectors. All invitations come with an expiration date. If the invitation has lost its energy or excitement, it is possible that the invitation has been withdrawn or perhaps the job is complete, but no one has noticed. The projector may feel that things aren't working anymore, such as money, interest, support, and adequate times are no longer available. At this point, it is helpful to discuss the situation with the investor in order to clarify the status of the invitation. Once aligned in their own power, projectors can let their auras do the talking. Their quiet waiting is the most effective way to elicit correct invitations for them. Gradually, the people and invitations that were not based on recognition will slowly fall away. If projectors trust in the silent magic of their chemistry, there is no need to do the inviting themselves. Opportunities will naturally come to them. When projectors understand the sanctity of their aura, they will nurture and protect it. This begins with creating an essential aura-free space in their home they can retreat to in order to properly relax and release the auric energies that they have absorbed during the day. Sleeping alone is also important for a projector because 70% of the population is generating sacral motor energy. In order to enter a deep, restful sleep, projectors must first take the time to diffuse the extra energy that they have taken in. Achieving a healthy balance between activity and rest in their life begins with learning to sense when enough is enough, when to let go in the residual auric energy of others, and when to be alone. Projectors with emotional authority. Projectors have been waiting so long for invitations that even those with emotional definition have a tendency to jump at the first opportunity. Unfortunately, what appears to be a great invitation when they're up in their wave can turn into a horrible commitment when they are down in their wave. We are all conditioned to be polite and answer spontaneously when someone invites us to accept a job or attend an event. It is also easy for emotional projectors to get hooked into someone else's energy field, which adds to the confusion. They need to wait and discuss it yet again. By waiting for clarity, they may in fact receive an even more delicious invitation. The strategy for emotional projectors is simply to request a day or two to think it over. If they still are not clear by then, they should unashamedly ask for more time and clarification of the details. Part of the experiment for them is to observe how and if their auric field draws the other person back again to renew the invitation while they themselves are waiting for clarity. Projectors in relationships. For a relationship to work, projectors must be recognized, formally invited into, and given an essential role in its unfolding. Projectors who are neither appreciated nor recognized are stuck in a dependent and weak position, which leaves them feeling bitter. Life and relationships lose their sweetness. The best advice, as with all types, is to enter relationships correctly from the beginning. Projector children. It is particularly important to the extremely sensitive projector child that parents be intentional about their own energy mechanics. Part of the parental support includes recognizing ways the child manages or interacts with healthy energies early on. Teaching projector children to recognize themselves, to know when they are recognized by others, and to recognize what a correct invitation feels like, places them on the track to success. This is all the encouragement that they need to practice their strategy and authority and to appreciate their uniqueness as a projector. Parents who invite and recognize their projector child give them a chance to develop, express, and feel the power of being who they truly are. Children who are taught to recognize and wait for the correct receptive audience grow up to be successful, well adjusted adults who can express their gifts with clarity and integrity in the world. Emotional projector children must also be invited, but without any pressure being placed on them to make a decision in the moment. This gives them a chance to get in touch with their emotional wave. When they are in a community that recognizes them, they will grow and thrive. If they are put under pressure to accept invitations or to make decisions before they actually have a chance to process and know what is right for them, they can easily end up confused, bitter, and unsuccessful. Projector recognition and the not self. When projectors hear about their type, there is an immediate resonance with the key word invitation. They suddenly realize that they have been the ones doing the inviting. In their restlessness and insecurity, they treat others the way that they themselves were meant to be treated, which naturally is met with resistance. After a lifetime of feeling unrecognized and uninvited, projectors become deeply pessimistic about people showing a genuine interest in them. When projectors feel starved for energy, they will compromise and settle for an invitation to the wrong energy exchange. Accurate recognition and a proper invitation is what sets a projector's gifts in motion and increases their values to others. For example, when someone says to an emotionally defined projector, "I love the way you process your decisions through your feelings," they know the person sees them. This gives the projector access to clean energy and potentially a receptive ear for their insightful guidance and advice. Once a proper invitation is completed or withdrawn, the projector's job is complete because the energy they were committed to managing is no longer available to them. However, their not self may panic and interfere with the letting go and moving on process. Their not self has no confidence in strategy or the projector auric invitation field, which can lead them holding on to people, not knowing when enough is enough, trying to prove themselves, accepting a wrong invitation to begin with, or even being fearful of not being invited again. It is through understanding others that projectors arrive at a clear understanding for themselves. If their agenda for reaching out to people comes with expectation that they will get attention or recognition, however, they will be met with resistance. Like all types, they need to be aware of their underlying agenda and hidden expectations. Projectors have a very strong intellect. They like to study and they take in information. Because of this, they tend to have a deeply conditioned mind that tries to control their lives and circumstances through the not self strategies and their open centers. They tend to feel that they will not get the life that they really want, so they compromise in their relationships and jobs by settling for what they think they can get. Settling is a huge problem for projectors, especially when there are bills to pay. Healthy sleep habits for projectors. It is best for projectors with their open sacral center to go to bed before they feel totally exhausted. By lying down or relaxing as much as an hour before they would like to be asleep, they can give their bodies a chance to unwind and their auras time to release energies that do not belong to them, thus preparing them for a peaceful and refreshing night's rest. Signature gold, success. Success dispels bitterness and maximizes the projector's sense of well being, recognizing the uniqueness and potential in others and guiding them by asking the right questions without a personal agenda is the projector gift. The right questions ultimately open the door to Satori, transforming and awakening someone to their own unique truth. Success also means getting to a place within where being a non energy type is no longer an issue. Waiting for a respectful, formal invitation accompanied by the appropriate rewards and energy resources is the projector strategy for the big decisions in life, thus reducing the likelihood of overextension or mental and physical breakdown. By moving from success to success, projector learns how to use their limited energy wisely. And that's it. That was the Projector chapter in the definitive book of human design, The Science of Differentiation. If you want more information, you can watch these videos here or head on over to inspiredhumandesign.com, where there's wonderful articles about your type, your strategy, the centers, and what to do if they're open or maybe if they're not open. There's just a bunch of information there on the blog. So that's all I got for you guys, and I'll see you in the future. Bye.